This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked ones obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. What is up, everyone? I'm Frank Castle, and it's Saturday night, and I'm your sorcerer supreme, and I'm here with my etherical translator, Paula Milo.
Hey, everyone.
That's it. Hey, everyone.
Saturday night.
It's Saturday night. I get so pumped up when that song comes on. Shout outs to everybody in that chat room. I feel like The Rock coming out to the entrance song right now. Although I don't have anyone to drop kick at the moment. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I hope not.
Sorry about that. Shout outs to Chris and Cherie. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here.
Right.
So much love. So stay tuned. After the show is Beyond the Veil. Check out their show because it's awesome. I got a lot of good stuff tonight.
Yeah, we have a lot of material to cover, so I'm going to try to keep Frank on track.
Okay, before we get nuts, sign up for TFR. If you want the past shows, the archives, all the good rock and roll from all the hosts.
That's right.
Or just your favorite, whatever you want. I mean, get a month, right? And then binge, listen, get what you need and get out.
Yeah.
You know? Kind of like a boxing move. Get in, get out. Get in, get out.
Okay.
Dude, you got to do in Beast. Remember, wherever you are, make it TFR. And if you like the music you hear tonight, HeistClick, you could find it everywhere. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Oh, I feel great. I'm about to read something to you guys. Pick up from where we left off last week. I want to read something out of the raw material. Special shout outs to Josh. He's back from his tour. He gave me the book, and now I can't put this damn thing down. Every time you see it. I didn't want to mark it up. I didn't know if it was mine or I was sharing it with Josh.
Every time you open a page, it's relevant.
All right. I'm trying not to scare you guys on the opening, but I'm going to. You ready? Okay. This is someone channeling Ra, the entity. I don't know how else to describe him. From ancient Egypt, the bird-headed god deity, the spirit of the sun, perhaps. It says, the questioner started getting a little deep. Are there any confederation or Orion entities living upon the earth and operating visibly among us in our society at this time? Now, this was the 80s. I am Ra. There are no entities of either group walking among you at this time. However, the Crusaders of Orion use two types of entities to do their bidding. Shall we say the first type is a thought form, the second, a kind of robot. Could you describe that robot? I am Ra. The robot may look like any other being. It is a construct. Is the robot what is normally called the Men in Black? I am Ra. This is incorrect. Who are the Men in Black? I am Ra. The Men in Black are the thought form type entity which have some beingness to their makeup. They have certain physical characteristics given them. However, their true vibrational value is without third density vibrational characteristics, and therefore they are able to materialize and dematerialize when necessary. Are these men in black then used by the Orion Crusaders? I am Ra. This is correct. You spoke of wanderers. Who are these wanderers? Where do they come from? I am Ra. Imagine, if you will, the sands of your shores, as countless as the grains of sand that are sources of intelligent infinity. When the social memory complex has achieved its complete understanding of its desire, it may conclude that its desire is service to others, with the distortion towards reaching their hand, figuratively, to any entities who call for aid. These entities, whom you may call brothers and sisters of sorrow, move toward this calling of sorrow. These entities are from all reachers of the infinite creation and are bound together by the desire to serve in this distortion. How many of them are incarnate on earth right now? I am Ra. The number is approximate due to the heavy influx of those birthed at this time, due to the intensive need to lighten the planetary vibration and thus aid in harvest. The number approaches 65 million. 65 million. Robots, 65 million beings inhabiting a human avatar. I spoke about this early in the episodes. When I first went up and was sitting in Source and looked down, I said only 80% of the things I'm viewing are connected to us and are human. Like there was a whole bunch of 20% of other things occurring that were not connected to us in any way. I was like, they don't even have a spark. It's not light. It's animated, though, like Pinocchio. And I was explaining, too, that it was a multitude of beings, you know, cyborgs and robots and, you know, artificial intelligent. You got to understand, this artificial intelligence is just like the Ultron in the Avengers movie. They inhabit their avatar, which is robotic in nature, right, could have like that. This is where it gets weird again. The Terminator quality, right? Like you can't tell. No. Right? And it gets better and better. But
no, but we all know these people. We know them. They're the people with vacant eyes.
That just don't get it.
Yeah, when you look into their you look at them, you don't even feel
it's almost like everything
they're alive.
There's no compassion.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's a compassion thing. Because what I'm learning is the most important thing is to have is compassion and love and faith and kindness. But compassion is like top 3, and it always gets like put first, then drops down a little bit. But you have to be compassionate to reach the next step, to reach the next stage. But robots, robots in disguise, Transformers, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about this. I mean, we could talk about it now if you want. Doctor Strange and the all right. Everything I've spoke of on this show has been out way before Doctor Strange, the movie, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay, so I have no reference point to him other than I like superheroes, like comics. I'm not really a fan of Doctor Strange specifically, so I've never really read his comics, only like when he jumps in on stuff. So I have a basic understanding. Okay. We watched the movie yesterday?
Yes, last night we watched it.
Now, the comparisons between my hero's journey specific and the things that we do inside our home to help others, to help release open third eyes, you know, release entities, open portals, all kinds of stuff like that. This was like the comic book version of everything we do.
Yeah, it was.
His hero's journey. I'm arrogant. You know, I make a lot of money, spend it as fast as I get it. Then suddenly car accident, and there's no spoilers. The accident leaves him unable to do his surgeries for people. He was the best surgeon. So now he's forced to trying to fix his hands, and medicine could no longer do it. So he turns to the metaphysical. And he finds out, because he didn't have his connection to spirit, to source.
There was none. There was no connection.
There was nothing. It was just, we're here, we're just matter, right? And then the girl pulls him out of his body and he sees it. And then he starts his journey. And he realizes he doesn't really need his hands as much as he needs his intention behind exactly what he's doing. It's not just waving your hands in the air, right? There's just so much to learn.
Right.
Meanwhile, in the background, you have multiple dimensions, portals opening with dudes jumping in and out, infecting and affecting things around it, beings from the dark realm. You know, they don't really have a hell there. So that being was kind of like that guy, the dark, overlord. Feeds on your energy. Remember what they said? The being is alive because you know about it and you feed into it. You're thinking about it, and he eats that. I mean, on and on and on. I mean, we sit inside the forms, in the circles, the sacred geometry, they had the fractals, the beings within the fractals, the traveling there, time out of time.
Oh, I know. Space. It was like everything we've spoken about wrapped up in 2 hours. It was an explanation of it wrapped up in 2 hours. It was really funny.
One of the things we do here, it sounds weird. One of the things Paula and I can do when we practice this is we run our hands over each other, right? Now, I used to think this was Reiki.
No, we're just moving the energy.
Right. So the more there's raw material on that as well. They call it psychic surgery. You're actually removing blockages and things that are attached.
Yeah.
She ran her hand over him in the movie and the energy jumped out of her hand.
Right.
And he was like, wow, teach me. And I'm looking at you going, we do this.
Yeah.
They're telling you again.
It's this easy.
Not only that it's this easy, but this is what's going on. There was a mirror dimension, and right outside of like it was the astral realm, and then there was the mirror dimension, and you could flip in and out of these places and see what's occurring, what's happening. You could take time, you could reverse it, flip it the other way.
Well, you could manipulate it any way you wanted to. You wanted to. Basically,
he becomes the sorcerer supreme, but it's the intention behind the character that does it. He believes it and he couldn't do it at first. Remember, he was making the portals and they wouldn't open.
Because he didn't believe he could do it.
But everyone else around him was doing it. And they're like, look, man, you got to forget everything you know and start from scratch. And, the ego kept getting in the way. So look, my point to this whole thing is they're telling you what's happening. I was watching that going, look, he's in a DMT trip. Look at the land he's in. Look, he went from the fractals into the spheres. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody, into all the rest. But we deal with this every day, and they insert it in all the movies. I was watching the Avengers cartoon just on repeat, like the third season of the Mighty Avengers, I think it was.
Don't be ashamed because you were watching the cartoon.
No.
Embrace it.
I went from there, and I said, oh, look what they're doing here with lizards. And I jumped to the Justice League one with Superman, and they had the Hawkmen. They came from their planet Thanagar and were flying around, and they landed in spaceships. People were like, what is happening? And they started like praising them. And it was like, oh, look, the avians, the birds are flying in the air, the bird men. And they were so advanced, they came down and said, look, these lizard characters, now they're evil. What they do is they eat people, and they do horrible things. And on Thanagar, they did horrible things, and they're traveling planet to planet, and they're taking over.
Because it's the same story being retold over and over and over again.
Right. So then the humans decide to go with the avians, and they build a shield to keep the Justice League trapped. And they defeat the lizards and then take over Earth. And I was thinking to myself, once again, you cannot put all of your cards into one thing. Like, let's just do this. There was no discernment used. They all said, let's just go with them because they look like angels.
Because they didn't think about the repercussions.
They were like, and you really have to. This is a children's cartoon, guys. Right? Like this is something for 13-year-olds at most, right? And I'm watching, and I'm a fan. I don't care. And I'm saying to myself, this is the most adult content I've ever seen. They're opening portals, putting force fields around the planet. They're intergalactic conflicts that match all the nonsense that's going on around us constantly.
Right.
And we're buying their action figures, and we're seeing it every day. Wait, what was the other show? Here we go. You ready? The one on Thursdays that we watch.
Oh,
Legends. Another show, time travel, portals. What were they telling us in this last episode? Remember, we were like, look, they're just showing you the aliens. It's this last 4-episode run on the CW had all the heroes teaming up from the different shows to fend off the aliens.
They all had to work collectively.
And then they threw in the Roswell, 1956,
right,
they landed.
That was the metaphor. They all had to work collectively in order for it to work.
Right. And nobody could leave themselves out of the conflict, because then the whole thing falls apart and fails. And what were the aliens doing? They came in saying, hey, look, we're just here to look around. And then 20, 30 years later, they showed up in time and brought battle forces.
Right.
And it was like, whoa, what's going on? And they were there the whole time. So I know it sounds crazy, but it's not.
It doesn't sound crazy to us at all, though. It's
even like the timing of the Independence Day 2 movie. Like, we were already past having that sequel, which turned out to be a rehashing, really, of the first movie. It's like the thing that Star Wars did, right? I remember Star Wars, right?
I remember.
So you're being... Oh, there's another movie, The Arrival, right? Or it's just Arrival. That's out in theaters right now. Why I saw it. My point is right when these things hit, they throw the movie at you. Right when you're like, I don't know. Oh, I can't wait to see that. And you go and you watch exactly what you're waiting for.
What we talked about on the show. We've talked about this so many times before. It's like, they're trying to get us comfortable with the idea. So when this does happen, whether it's something that we created or it is non-human entity making contact, we're not completely freaked out by it because it's sprinkled into everything.
Yeah, so when you finally see the alien, it's not really a big deal.
No.
You go, well, that's what I expected a little bit, Well, it's the same shape, it's kind of a little bit different, but, it's humanoid. I was saying, E.T. is like a cute little twist on it, but when I was younger and he'd go, photo, I used to freak out. Because if that thing looked at me and said that, I'd run out of the room saying, get this thing away from me.
I would too.
It's scary on a lot of levels, but that is conditioning within itself. To watch the slow neck movements and the weird things like long fingers touching your face going,
Having it look similarly, so like you could identify with its body parts and having it look similar to you, but yet so different, so you feel comfortable with the idea.
Right. They made E.T. almost like a pet.
Yeah.
Right? They ain't nothing like pets, I'll tell you right now. I'm thinking you meet these things, these beings, and it's really not what it's chalked up to be. They're not like E.T. Like, hey guys, phone home. Like, you gotta understand, they're hyper intelligent. They're beyond what we're used to. Right? So they're not gonna be cute and cuddly and fuzzy.
No.
You're dealing with things that might eat you if you screw up your first intro to them.
Right.
But I guess it's all out there. We say this all the time. It's all real. So there's every kind of ET, every kind of interdimensional. But, man, they're pushing that portal business. They pushed it with the Stargate Atlantis, all those shows. We could go on and on. Your favorite one is the Bugs Bunny one.
Oh, yeah, when the scientist makes the portals.
He makes the holes, and then you have the portable hole.
Right.
And what did the guy do?
The bank robber used the portable hole to rob a bank, and then they outlawed the portable hole.
And then the guy put his wife in it.
Yeah, the guy put his wife in it. She couldn't take him. He couldn't take her anymore. But it's that simple. Like, if you can think it and you can believe it, and you can sustain your belief, then it'll all be okay.
The magic starts occurring.
Yeah.
When you start
Slowly,
saying,
yeah.
hey, I'm ready to see the magic. And don't get all ego with it, because I know people that are like, no, I said it. It's like, no, when you say it like that, it doesn't work. It's magic. Excuse me. You have to believe it. Balls to bones.
Yeah.
Internally, externally, and understand that you won't understand it, and you're going to be learning all about it. It's going to start revealing itself to you. So be ready for magic.
I'm ready for magic.
And ETs. Well, now it's time for my disclaimer. This is the story of my journey and my journey alone. I don't suggest you try this at home alone. That is, unless you are ready. Then, by all means, proceed. But first, we suggest finding a reputable shaman who knows what he or she is doing, and travel safe in the love and the light. And remember, the universe rewards bravery. Enough about movies and TV. I got a story. Back to the story. I was talking to my grandfather, and he leaned into me a little bit after having a better understanding of what I'm doing.
Yes, you have to tell this. Yes.
Okay, so Grandpa Frank is like, so I've been listening to you speak around the house, and it's pretty positive, pretty awesome. He was very impressed. And that's big. He's in his 80s. And I've said this a million times, when the box closes, he thinks it just goes dark. So, it's hard to explain to a man of that age from that generation, like, hey, man, your dad is in the house all the time. He walks the house. It's the story of the ghost. We all have one. Everyone that has lived there or has been part, and we're upwards of 20 people.
Right.
And there's been this going on through generation after generation. My different uncles as well have visited me. I've seen it. I've been there with them. Just helped in extraordinary ways with it. So he said, but I learned so much about my family. We know now that my great-grandmother, his mother, was a witch, a black witch, did dark magic. She was Italian, hardcore Italian, like barely spoke any English. Was very gangsta. Had the weird altar, all the goodies. Found out from a neighbor who was oh my God, she was in her 30s when my great-grandmother was around, and they were best friending it up doing dark magic, who then called for me to come meet her, didn't know I was related, and then asked me to help her, and just found out, like, wow, you knew my great-grandmother? And then she told me stuff. Yep. Then found out from my aunt, great aunt, who was like, oh, you don't understand what was going on. Then that was fully explained. So my grandfather just decides to open up and go, one of my brothers, your uncle, my uncle was he's no longer with us. He was jumping out of airplanes in World War II. And he loved it. He looked like Kojak. Mm-hmm. He carried a .38 wherever he went. He had more awards than I've ever seen. He had no problem with, he was a butcher. He has no problem with sticking you to the wall and taking your skin off. He's that type of guy. They're old school men, right? Stopped a robbery next door to his butcher joint. The Korean lady next door opened the door in the back and screamed for him. And he walked into the store, pulled his gun, killed 2 guys, dropped another one, but got shot 3 times. So they gave him an award. They told him he's allowed to, have his gun in New York City, because that's a huge deal to have a gun here. Just awesomeness after awesomeness. Had a lot of money, whatever, pretty wife. So he says to me, there was a weird point with your uncle. We're all not really religious. And we were like, hey, man, we hear that you like Satan.
Yeah, this story freaked me out a little bit.
You got to talk into the mic. They can't hear you.
I'm sorry. No, this story did it. Go ahead.
So,
this is interesting.
I go, wow, you like Satan? He goes, yeah, but it was weird. It made everyone uncomfortable. He didn't push it on anyone. He kept it to himself. Remember, back then, you had to keep things to yourself. If you were anything but just what you're supposed to be, you're out of line. Right? There's contempt across the board for those kind of people. So he said, everything was satanic around this guy. Like, he had his room, he had the door locked, and you can see inside. There's an altar. There's all kinds of stuff in there. And my grandfather's pretty plain. He doesn't get specific. He's like, there's all kinds of, junk in there. My brother's a real, So he says, I ask him, what's going on with you? What's happening? And he goes, nothing, mind your business. Then he runs out of the house, my uncle, screaming one night, and everyone sees him running outside in like his underwear or something, and his breeches, as they would call it. And my grandfather says, okay, now you're going to explain what's going on. And he's like, you want to know what's going on? He goes, I love Satan, right? He goes, and I pray to him, and I pray to him, and I pray to him. And he's like, are you nuts? He's like, well, he's kind of been with me the whole time.
Wow.
So he goes, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Is that what you're doing? He goes, yeah, well, that's not exactly what I was doing. So I got some candles, and I bought this giant mirror, and I put it in my living room, and I decided to sit with the lights out in front of the mirror and start chanting and praying to him, asking him to reveal himself, saying his name over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's how you do it, by the way. And I'm not telling you to provoke any of this stuff, but he sat there and did it. And after hours and hours and hours of nothing happening, and he said he got a little dizzy from not eating or drinking.
Sure, he's dehydrated probably.
Yeah, well, you got to remember back then, the heat was different, and everything was different back then. All right, when we come back from the break, I'm going to tell you what happened when you call out to Satan in the mirror with a candle lit for hours and hours until you're silly. Wow. We'll be right back.
So scary.
Your protection from deception.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. TLR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy of where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
Yeah, that's right. That's me, and that's Come Alive by Frank Castle. Find it on Amazon, iTunes, Xbox, Disney, everywhere. Spotify, iHeart Radio. We're everywhere but Pandora. Man.
Okay.
Okay, so right back into it.
So now your grandfather tells you that his brother is now admitted to him that he has been trying to summon Satan.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
We're huddling up for safety.
Okay.
Excuse me. So he gets a candle, sits in front of a giant mirror for hours. Now, these are old school guys. This is someone who has taken someone's life over and over again in war.
But he's also served his country. I mean, you would think that they're...
Yeah, and he's being shined in the good light. This isn't a slap against him. I'm just saying.
No, I understand that. But
like,
yeah,
when we get into this...
It's unlikely. It's unlikely.
Well, what is protecting you that you were able to jump out of a plane 130-something times and throw down, the beatdowns to people? And then protect the store owners, and then do this and do that. Is it an angel of light that allows you to do something like that? Even though he is serving your country, it's still following an order. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's following his moral compass. Like he's doing all the right things. That's why this is so
right. But what is out there that protects you? There's many, as we've seen it. You have angels, you have demons.
Right. Well, I understand what
like
you're saying.
Like a demon will protect you that covered its sheep.
It was his belief system to believe that Satan was the one protecting him.
So he tells my grandfather. He goes, so Frank, you're not gonna believe this, but right when I was about to just give it in. It looked like a dark, shadowy smoke started emanating from the mirror. It did not come from the other side. It came from the actual, it looked like it was coming from the mirror. Like, oh, look, this is just coming out of it. He couldn't see nothing on the other side, though, like a reflection of something.
Wow.
And first it was a hand, and then it started forming the rest of the humanoid form. And it was demonic, black, yellow eyes, and greeted him. And he completely lost it, peed himself. Right, wet his pants. Well, wet his britches. I don't know. There was like half shorts or like the long shorts maybe or something, and then ran out of the house like that. And everyone was like, "What the hell happened?" So he turned around and was telling my grandfather, "Never again. Never." He's like, "That dude is real." And he's like, "Well, you were praying to him. Like,
right.
what did
think
you
was going to happen?"
This just goes to show where your head is when you do this stuff. Look. They teach you to do certain things, right? Like they slip the Ouija board in there. The Ouija board, you're not supposed to really, it could be used, but you're not really supposed to bring them in. They put it on the toy shelves.
Lower level entities.
So you can bring in, those entities, right? That's a trick. But it doesn't mean you can't do your thing and speak to the light beings or whoever you're morally compassed to. Because you're going to do what you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you it could be done.
It definitely could be done.
When I see rituals being done, sometimes I say, you don't even need to do that. As the creator, your belief system allows you to just do it. They're like, well, how do you connect to these things? I got to sacrifice a goat and do this. I'm like, look, I just talk to them.
Just ask.
You just have to pretend. You have to put your mindset into the belief system that it's you. Right? Like you're the creator.
Yes.
When they see that you believe that, they treat you way differently. It goes from this biblical moment to just a really amazing thing that occurred, Like I know that when Ra came through the portal in my room and stopped and said, "I'm not coming in, I'm going to give you a heart attack," I wasn't religiously like bound to that, like throwing myself on the floor, like, please, oh, I love you, I pray to you. No, I stood up and was like, well, actually I couldn't move well. I was like, come on, do it. And my heart, I couldn't take it. I was going to.
Your physical body couldn't
If there was any time I was ever going to have a heart attack in this life, that was it. And I've had panic attacks where I thought I was having a heart attack, but you're not, you're just having a panic attack. This felt like it was going to blow out of my chest. And he just immediately backed out and said, nope, sorry, can't do it. Even with you chilling over there like that in this situation. And I said, why is it like that? Why does that occur? Why does that? And he's like, you've been on the other side. It's more colorful in every way, shape, or form. It's more real. It's so much more real than it is here. And I know that's difficult for people to understand. But this is the illusion. You're projecting into this. Man, I can't believe, out of 5 brothers, one had to give in to the satanic.
Yeah, but then he stopped
in terms of the odds.
He said he stopped praying to him.
Yeah, but who the hell knows? In his older life, he went out pretty gross. But when from that generation, they kind of do. The fact that he lived as long as he did was amazing, and he had a full life and he was successful. So, but they don't make men like that anymore. Those kind of guys don't really lie. Like, if they tell you one of these stories,
it's usually the truth.
My grandfather's face was so serious, right? And because he's seen how serious I was when I discussed these things. My grandmother loves the UFO and ET stuff.
I know she does.
But my grandfather likes the shamanistic aspect of it.
Yeah.
So I play off those two things. Like, oh, Grandma, you know what I found out? Check this out. And I just take her, show her something and say, well, look, it's real. And I know it's real. And then I wink. And she's like, well, how do you know? And then I just switch it to the shamanism.
Right.
I go in many cultures. There's the guy that kind of he knows where the door is, so to speak. It's within you, but you have to figure that out by usually getting to the shaman and going, what's wrong? Because that's what winds up occurring. So strange, the things that are occurring, right?
It is strange, but it's interesting. Right?
It's interesting that Doctor Strange is... I can't get over it. I think the hero's journey, I don't think it's me specifically, so don't think I'm coming off this way, but I think the hero's journey is specific. You get injured, you travel to figure out what's like. There's nothing you can do physically to help you, and now
Right.
you have your body shot, and now
You'll
your
do
mind.
anything to fix yourself,
Yeah.
to heal yourself.
And then taking that journey, it leads you to different things.
Yeah.
Finding your spirituality is top of that list, whether you do it through ayahuasca, plant medicines, whatever. But I am so thankful for ayahuasca, because without her, this wouldn't have been possible, because I'd be a dummy. I'd be out there going, yo, superpowers, yo, on stage still. All right, so even back to the story more. We were talking about my abductions last time. One of the things Paula and I noticed watching some video online about reptilian overlords, when I went through what I went through with the insects last week, I discussed this. I said, okay, I admit it's happening. Okay, you guys are showing it to me. I feel it. It feels to be okay. It's happening. Okay,
Right.
That's great. That's fun. That's awesome. Great to see you guys. Okay, how do we stop this? How do we stop it? I want to know how you stop this. All right, I said,
Can't do that.
how about this? How about you tell me, how can I do something to avoid this? Or they're like, you can't avoid it. I go, why can't I avoid it? They're like, you're tagged. You guys, they can see you. They don't need to be here. They don't need to be in, like, you just don't know. And then they're there.
You can't avoid it.
You cannot avoid it. But there's something that occurs that you can, there's a way to avoid that numbing white flash of light that occurs.
Yeah.
Okay, check this out.
yeah.
This is intense. People report a white flash of light, and the light feels like it's really hitting you.
Right.
Like it actually feels physical.
Almost like a lightning strike.
A lightning strike, or the presence of a light being, you would feel the light hitting you, like, because light is matter. You just tighten it up a little bit and it becomes a baseball bat. So
Ow.
sorry about that. Well, your senses, literally everyone has these senses.
Mhm.
Your sixth sense, when you're kind of on point, you get up to a 6-second head start before they're even there. Before the light goes off, before they enter the room, you get 6 seconds at most. This is how they were. They have probabilities. They're working the math on it. I'm just like, okay, you get 6 seconds to do what? And they're like, the light is what's doing it, right? The light's like a physical thing. It almost comes from the walls. But once it hits your optics, it's a wrap.
Is it AI?
No, it's technology they're using, right? So the flash of light is tech.
Okay.
And then the tech freezes you in place. That's why they report people just standing there dumb, like they don't do nothing, and then they just get taken.
Right.
Well, these things are flashing the light and then just physically walking through the room. However they get into the room, some portal through. I've seen them walk through walls before. It's the technology they're using. I've seen them etheric. I thought they were etheric, and I go over and I go, look, they're not even here. It's a hallucination. And I push, and I'm like, oh my God, there's a giant reptilian in the room with me. And I feel I don't even know what to do. But so I said, so you get a 6-second heads up. He goes like, that's if you're in tune. You're pretty in tune now because you see what's occurring. It affects your sleep cycle. It affects this. It affects that. Your fear level and this. I go, I'm not afraid. These things aren't that big. People always tell you, oh, they were like 3 feet tall. They're grabbing me everywhere. It was uncomfortable. They're sticking objects in me and stuff. And then they talk about anal probes. That's what gets people, right? No, we laugh, but that's what happens, right? They go, oh, they anal probe them, so it's a joke, right? But when they're taking
I
you,
don't think there's anything funny
when they're
about it.
splitting you from your palm to the top of your ear on your neck, and they're looking for your soul inside of you, and this dog-headed guy called Anubis is stealing your consciousness so they don't take it, and you're like, what the F is going on here? I have no clue what's happening, and the fact that all this is real is driving me insane. So how do I stop it? Well, you get 6 seconds, right? So I go, well, how? They're like, well, you got to cover up. You can't let it get into your eyes, right? So they showed me multiple ways to stick something over your face, like hold it tight. And I go, okay, that's great. So no light hit me. And then they showed me what would it would look like if I was able to avoid that. And it looked like these insects just flying into the room and then just scurrying everywhere, doing all kinds of things, whatever they're there to do. But it naturally has to do with you and whoever else is there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I just take the pillow down and I'm like, oh my God, they're in the room with me, lowercase g. And I go, well, so now what? And they're like, now, what did you want to do to them? But now don't have the heart attack. And they do have tech, and it's just like someone kicking in your door and coming in. Very freaky stuff.
It is freaky. It's very freaky. And I have to say, I love you, chat room people. You're wonderful. There's nothing like getting attention on a fake news network, like mentioning anal probes. Way to go, Frank.
Well, I'm saying that's how they put it out, the anal probe part. That's what they put in the news and in the media. Yeah, so that's what creates that. I mean, yeah, it is pretty funny, too. When they told, listen.
This is fake news, remember? We're on that website.
That's right. That's right. Oh, man. All right. So, wait, there's more. There's so much more. So, and it's funny the way the timing of all this works out, the synchronicities and the craziness.
Oh, I know.
I went and I had an experience, and I said, I know all this information now. I can't take this abduction stuff. I'm enough. I don't want to hold pillars over my face and avoid aliens and that are trying to take my soul and stuff. How about a hug? How about a big fat I love you? I'm getting honestly sick and tired of these things that I can't handle, but I want to handle. I want to be the more. See, this is how I do it. So when people say, well, how do you do it, bro? I want to do the same thing. You have to sit there and want it. You can't want it like an evil villain. Like, I'm going to take over the world because I want to take over the world. You can't know. This isn't about power. It's empowering self, which gets you power, but it's power of self. It's not dominating power. And I tell them, I need the info. It's my birthright to know who I am.
Yeah, it's your body. Mm-hmm.
And they go, oh, he's ready. Like, you got to say the right things, and then you have to believe it to be so, because they're checking you on both of those counts. They can see if you're lying. I to this day, I'm still weirded out by that. Like, I can't find a way to stop anyone from scanning me. Like, they just do it. And you go, okay, I've been scanned. Like, you understand everything that I know, and you know if I'm bullying you right now.
Right.
I'm like, how do I keep you out? You know, it's the weird ones that can't just jump on you because you're more powerful. Those are the ones you pick out. They're like demonic entities that you hear them talking and whispering, and you go, get away from me. Yeah. And they just get away from you. These things are just different. All right. So I started to speak to Aya immediately as I went in. It wasn't a very powerful purge at all. So I know I've been pretty good.
Yes, you have.
Wait, so I lay down. I was like, as a matter of fact, that was a weak purge, because remember, I purged later on. That was the bad part. I said, please love me. Please please, like a child. And I noticed a crib form around me. It was beautiful, white, big, giant crib, big enough to fit me. Right? And I said, oh, I know this place. What is this place? I thought it was a cage at first, but I was like, are they trying to cage me? And then I saw the wall was a beautiful eye, giant eye. The eye was watching me. And I saw around the room, as I looked back and forth, I noticed things from my childhood that made me feel good that were just up on the walls and in the different places I lived. And then I was like, wow, I'm really safe in here. And then I hear, you know I love you, right? And I go, yeah, I do know that. She goes, you feel loved, right? And I'm like, yes, this is awesome, but no need for the crib because I'm not a baby. Like, I needed a hug and love. And she was like, no doubt. We're just doing everything to make you comfortable because of what you've done. Like, it's a reward system based on, are you listening? Are you practicing? Are
you using discernment? Yes.
Is it
in
worth?
your everyday decision?
I don't want to say time for them, but let's just use that. Like, is it worth their time to teach you if you're not listening? Like, they're not judging you, but it's like hanging out and not offering anything to the crew you're with. It's like they know you're more. So if you're going to dabble in the lower end and not keep coming up, are you being a good student? Are you being a good shaman? You bad shaman, Frankie.
Bad shaman. No, but you're going to receive the message as many times as you need to receive it until you learn it, until you walk through it. Like we were watching the Joe Rogan podcast the other day. Who was that Aubrey
Marcus from Onnit.com.
And he had gone to the rainforest and had an ayahuasca experience. He brought his friends and family, and he was tricked 3 times in a row by a lower level entity. And he's known for holding ceremony many times before. And I just thought, how could you be tricked 3 times in a row and do the same thing that you did before 3 times? But that was his lesson to learn. He's going to be shown these things until he learns his lesson.
They're not going to stop.
No, they're not going to stop until you get it, until you learn your lesson. Use discernment. He wasn't, and I'm not hating or anything like that. I mean,
keep repeating this.
Yeah,
stuff.
no, I thought it was really brave of him to discuss his experience.
The fear level is intense inside of these moments when you see a world-crushing being. One of the beings I saw tonight was galactic, and I knew it to be galactic. It was so big, like it moved galaxies, and I couldn't believe it. Now imagine an evil version of that. That's what he was going up against.
No. I totally understand that, but you're never. I mean, and he's experienced in going in and having ceremony. My point is that you're never ready. You can never be 100% ready, because you can go in and set the intentions. You can go in with a list of things that you think need to be fixed. But if something else is weighing much heavier than that, that's what you're going to go through. But I thought it was great, that he talked about it so openly. And honestly, in everyone that we've talked to and met along the way, he is the only one that had similar experiences to your experiences.
Once again, I put this out there. If whoever you are, if you're listening, if you hear this, if you speak to any of the deities, like the literal Egyptian pantheon and etc., reach out to me. I speak to all of them directly, including Shiva and so on. Still can't find many people that do it at all. It's such a small world when it comes to this, but it's because we're not listening and paying attention. Some of us come first, anchor in. I tell you this, guys, you got to picture the center of the earth. Picture an anchor or roots growing to the center of earth. Once you're wrapped around that center ball, you become the lightning rod. So when the energies hit you, it transmutes into the planet.
Right.
And it's this big working system of what we're supposed to be doing to help ascend the planet. And she's going to do it whether you like it or not. If you're not working to help it, when she shakes, then you're going to be part of the problem. Let's not be scary like that. So I'm in my crib, and I'm loved. And I'm like, I love it. I love it, but gonna need a little. And that's when it occurred. I seen this little black spot. It was just right in front of me. And I said, oh, what's that? I said, it's so cute. Like, it's
because you put conditions on it, right? So you're like, I need to see more. I need to see something different. I need to.
Well, because I was in a crib.
Of course. Yeah. No, but it doesn't matter. You put a condition on it. So the condition came.
Well, I was so happy that I got exactly what I asked for. This whole happened multiple times, not the crib, but the I love you. It was kept being told to me. But as I was saying it, this little black dot, it looked like there was a hole in the wall, and there was like a black spot in the hole, right? And like some kind of black goo. It was just like,
oh, that's not good.
Sitting there. And then when I was going, I love you, it came out. Like it launched toward me.
Because it didn't want to hear. It didn't want to hear about love.
And I was going, oh no, are you? Now I'm an hour in, and I'm going, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
This is inside of me.
Right.
And this is what Aya tells me. This is growing inside of you like a virus. And I go, why? Why again with this black, gooey AI? It's technology mixed with biology that gets in you. It forms in you through the negative, the sludge. It's every culture talks about this crap that gets in you, and all of a sudden you're like a hyperconductor to a demon or to the AI, which wants you infested with demonic entities because it loves to watch this crazy crap. I say, why? And it goes, you're a shaman. Do you have any idea what you've been dealing with? Why do you think we've been telling you we love you? Mm-hmm. Why do you think you're getting free run and reign over here? You come over here and look, guys, I am scared all the time when I do this, but I'm not if someone doesn't go take a look, how are we going to know what's there?
Going on? Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
And if something's, they've abducted me, they've killed me multiple times, they've over and over. And the abduction thing, I didn't really gets OD when even with that, because then you're getting physical abductions. It's all taking place. Millions of people. Roz said it in the book. All those millions of people are starseeds. Yeah. Those are all the people coming to look. Back, the wanderers. They're going, wow, they're about to do it. So we're coming to help.
Sure.
You got to anchor in, like I was saying, and be the lightning rod. Meditate. Say you're ready. Say, I am ready, universe. I am anchored to the earth, and I love her, and she loves me, my mother. And just start that way. Be easy. Be easy with it, and then just open. Watch what happens. So I jump out of the bed and start throwing up, like massively. I couldn't believe what was coming out of me. And they said, when you go to the bathroom later, that's when you'll be clear. And I was like, oh man, at least they tell you though. Yeah, they don't make you crap your pants. That's only if you're not listening and you're just whining like, oh my God, I can't believe they're there. Oh, look what's happening. And they're like, go to the bathroom. You're going to throw up. You're going to,
No, you do. 2. You have to purge that out. You can't leave that in you.
And you're just laying there. The next thing that you see, you're just going to go or throw up right there. So be mindful of that stuff. That black goo again, it just seems like the chemtrail rain brings it, the dealing with negative entities from other people. It's not like we're going to escape this. These things are going to be there. Are we vibrating high enough for them to touch us or not? Right? So there's always going to be those that don't rise. The old ones that are still here.
Right.
Swarmed with this stuff.
They're not meant to.
The ones that are comfortable with their demon. Mm-hmm. These are all archonic beings, guys. They're going for it. They've already went for it. What do I got? 4 minutes left?
No, I think you have 54 seconds left.
50 seconds. Damn it. One thing I found that I'm going to finish this story next week, but I had the synchronicities. 4 people hit me up as I was waking out of this, and all 4 of them were saying to me, I need this. I need this. Right, I need this. Right. And I'm like, whoa, what's happening? I'm in this. Yeah,
they're ready for the experience.
And they're screaming to me through texts and voicemails, and I need to see you. I need to be, and it's just not the same people around me. These are more people.
Yeah.
This is it's bigger than us, bigger than everyone. It is everyone. It's us. It's the all. Right. Don't forget that stuff.
So if you have questions, just email us or message or text or however Facebook, you want to contact us.
I'll answer your questions live on air, and we'll get busy. So until next time. Change your frequency and tune into ours, where your protection from deception.